Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Aware's information session on our life skills education programme. My name is Leah O'Brien. I'm the education coordinator here at Aware. I'm joined today with Bonita Dennison, who is our mental health trainer at Aware. And I'm also joined by Elaine, who is a past participant in the life skills programme. Elaine has a unique journey that she took part in the programme herself some time ago. And then I'll let Elaine talk through it a little bit, but she came through as a volunteer and then actually came on herself to be a trainer, a professional trainer for the life skills programme at Aware. So Elaine, we can come back to that in a little bit and let you share your story, but you're all very welcome today. I'm just going to share some slides with you about our life skills group programme. I would like to also encourage you all to ask questions at the end. There'll be an opportunity for us to answer some questions along the way. Feel free to use the chat box to send the questions in, and we'll get through as many questions as we can. So the life skills group program, Bonita, I think I'll go through a little bit about just the logistics of the program first before we delve in too much about week on week and what participants can expect by attending the program.
Thanks.
But just to say, first of all, we offer the program in a virtual setting over Zoom, and we also offer the program in person. So unfortunately, due to COVID, we restricted the number of in-person programs that we've been delivering over the years. However, I suppose a good plus to that is that we now can do a large number of Zoom programs, reaching lots of people across Ireland in different remote locations that we weren't able to get to in the past. So it's working really, really well. The connection piece, people have been reporting back that they're still receiving really, really good connection from the virtual group. So I don't think that is lost. Bonita, you might say the same, that people are still enjoying having the virtual connection.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's great for people to be able to manage it around whatever's going on in their lives or wherever they are in the country. That part is a big benefit really for people, because even as lovely as it is having us all together in one group, it did limit it in certain areas in the country. So we did get a benefit, I think, on the other side for people.
Yeah, and the reports are that the evidence-based program is still working really, really well over the virtual setting. So I think that's really important to don't use that as a barrier to attending if it's not in your area. The program itself takes place for 6 consecutive weeks. It's 90 minutes a week, and it's delivered in a very relaxed delivery style. Confidentiality is guaranteed within normal limits. And a little bit more about the program itself. So it's based on the principles of CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. The program was developed by Dr. Chris Williams in Scotland, and we at Aware here are the only organisation in Ireland to hold the licence to deliver the program here in Ireland. So I suppose the aim of the program is to help people recognise their thoughts and their behaviours, and to teach them skills and tools to make small changes to those thoughts and behaviours through the principles of cognitive behavioural therapy. So Bonita, you might talk us through, I suppose, a little bit more about what CBT is, what the weeks may look like. So these 6 weeks here, you can see I've got a little chart saying week 1 to 6. You might, tell us about what the participants come to the programme for.
Yeah, I'll just give a general overview is probably the easiest thing, because this is really to give people that taster, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think lots of people will have heard probably of CBT. I know it pops up in lots of even social media platforms and stuff for people, but what it basically means is understanding what way do we think, and a lot of the time we're not even aware of our thoughts, those kind of sentences, like now I'm having the one of, are you saying the right thing? Are you, that kind of stuff, right? And then in relation to how do we feel? And a lot of the time in relation to mood, we're aware of how we feel, but a lot of the time we kind of think those kind of feelings stays the same all the time. Kind of feelings come and go. So we look a little bit around, how do we think? How do we feel? And the fact that feelings come and go, and how does our behaviour really influence either how we feel or how we think? So that's what CBT is about. It's thoughts, feelings and behaviours, and the impact of those 3 things on really how we manage our mood. So the group is made up of, like, I've been fortunate enough to do the in-person and the online, and I can still remember in the height of COVID, Leah, I don't know if you can remember the idea of Zoom and what are we going to do? And yet it's worked really well.
It's worked
Really,
really
it's
well.
been a really good opportunity for people. You meet people from all walks of life. So I think often if you're thinking about doing the course, people often have that idea of, oh, who else will be there? And oh, you know, everyone will kind of maybe know me or won't know me, or will they be different to me? And actually the thing that happens the most is that as we come together as a group, we realize that actually we're all the same. Sometimes people might have had maybe experiences and maybe a diagnosis in relation to depression or anxiety. Some people don't, but they're trying to manage the ups and downs of life. So there's a variety in it, really. And what we
And
look at
Bonita,
each week. Sorry,
just to
Leah.
say, that's a really key point, actually, I think, Bonita, to say, you know, who the program is for. So people, there can be, I suppose, an understanding that people may feel, do I have to have a diagnosis of depression before I attend this program? So it's called life skills, and that means that you are learning life skills. You're learning to be able to deal with life's everyday stressors. And my personal view is that we could all benefit from learning some new life skills. But in terms of people attending the program, we absolutely have those who may have mild to moderate depression, anxiety, bipolar, or people who are just having a tough time at the moment. And one of the things that we do, Bonita, isn't it? We help people to maybe spot the signs and symptoms if they are experiencing depression, and maybe encourage them to reach out to their GP if those signs and symptoms are continuing for some time. But really, it's open to anybody to attend the program who may be feeling low mood and who maybe feel, you know what, I think I could do with a little bit of help with what's happening with me right now.
Yeah, exactly as you describe it. You know, you even say things like some people who maybe are feeling low mood at some time. Actually, that's all of us, really, isn't it? At some point in life, really, as well. So yeah, it's aimed at mild or moderate low mood. And that's how it was designed when Chris Williams particularly wrote the course that you mentioned earlier that you have the license for. But in relation to mood in general, I mean, there's none of us get through life without having those kind of dips at times. And that's normal, the dips, but sometimes the dip just lasts a little bit longer. So whether or not, you know, that you're wondering about your mental health, you're right. Like the idea really is for us to kind of catch it a little bit earlier for ourselves so that the mood doesn't really become or spiral down. I'm doing that with my finger because I kind of can spiral down into lower mood and sometimes depression then for people.
And Elaine, yourself, you know, you're obviously, myself and Bonita are talking from the outside, but you took part in this program as a participant. So, you know, what prompted you to sign up? What made you feel this is the right program for me? Or you didn't know? What made you decide I'm going to sign up and try this program?
I suppose, to be honest, I was going through a life-changing event at the time. My son had been diagnosed with dyslexia and he needed a lot of extra supports. And the supports he needed really required me to take a career break. And that was very challenging for me. So I was challenged by kind of losing my identity within my career, and also challenged as a parent in terms of what the future may hold for my son. Realistically, I didn't attend something like this to get information. The cookies found me on Facebook, and I was prompted to. I said, "Why not?" I liked the word skills. It made me feel empowered that maybe there was something I could do to make this a better journey.
Thanks, Elaine. And you know, from that moment that you made the registration to walking in on night one, you know, what was it like for you attending that first session? You know, did anything come up for you? Did you have expectations of the course?
I suppose two things. Well, number one, you can possibly hear from my accent, I live in Cork, and Cork is a lot of people know each other in Cork. So there's always that feeling, I think as Bonita mentioned, of walking into a room and, you know, that feeling of judgment. There's always a fear of, will I meet somebody and will I be judged? And, you know, I might have been perceived as somebody in a career, and here I was reaching out for skills like this. But nothing was further from the truth, you know. And the hardest thing was walking through the door, I must say. But once I walked through the door and meeting other people with, you know, different challenges, some maybe more challenging than my own and some less challenging than my own. But I think, you know, all with a like-minded desire to make things better for ourselves. So yeah, that was kind of how I felt about it.
Bonita, I say you have lots of people report that back to you. You know, walking through the door is the scariest part, but once they're there, you know.
I'm curious, actually, just when you mentioned that then, Elaine, what was it like walking out the door that first night?
Relief, yeah, relief. And, you know, I think no matter what you're facing in life, I think the decision to do something is the most important thing. And once you make that decision, whether it's to go to a doctor, whether it's to go to the gym, no matter what it is, the decision to do something is very empowering. And I think you always feel better as a result of it. So
That I've heard before. That's probably why I was wondering about it, the relief, you know, because like any course, isn't it? You have the anticipation of coming in. And then it's around, will they know how I am? And, you know, we judge ourselves if we're fed up when we're going to a course like that. But that sense of relief, I've watched that even as people are leaving, you know, in either actually the Zoom, the online or in person. The
And I suppose
sudden
also
kind of
that
the natural chit chat then.
Yeah, and it did meet expectations. So yeah, I read
Yeah.
what it was going to be about, but what it's really about when you really get that, you know, nearly it's like reading about a match or being at a match, that whole atmosphere, being immersed in the program. And I must say, the trainer was really good and really really engaging, and allowed us to participate at whatever level we wanted to, or not at all. So I think that was really important, you know. And even over the 6 weeks, there might have been days where I felt very involved, and other days where I was more happy to be a little bit on the fringes and to take in what was being said.
That depends on the topic each week then, doesn't it, sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah. And sometimes maybe I was just tired, you know, maybe I was just tired or whatever.
Yeah, and I think as well, Elaine, you're talking about, you know, walking through that door to attend your first session. For the benefits of people, I suppose, who are taking part virtually, is that they can do so in the comfort of their own home. So sometimes there isn't as much anxiety around, you know, leaving their house, walking into the room, maybe getting on the bus, getting in your car. There's not as many steps involved in making that first step. So I really would encourage anybody who is thinking, oh God, should I take part? Should I not? You're not taking a place from anybody else. If you register and sign up and make the attempt to join on week 1, you know, we would encourage you to do it. Don't be fearful that you're taking a place from someone else. You deserve to be there and you deserve to have that place. So I think if that be virtual, and that's going to minimize your anxiety or your hesitation about attending, you know, hop on virtually, sign up, and come along. The one thing that we do ask is that cameras are on. So Elaine did mention you can share as little or as much as you want in the program. You can participate as little as much, but we do ask the cameras are left on, and that's to ensure the safety of everybody in the program. So yourself and everybody included. We want to make sure that we know who's behind the camera. There's that, I suppose, sometimes fear of, Elaine, you touched on who may know me, and that might be alleviated after your first session. If you do wish to have your name anonymous, you can contact the office beforehand and say, I have registered as Joe Blogs, but I'm going to write my name as Joan, or whatever you decide to do. That's fine. We just ask that we know about it beforehand, and that's to ensure that those who sign up are on the platform. But I definitely do think it is a nice stepping stone for those who may be uncertain about leaving their house and going into a room with people. The virtual program gives you that opportunity to take part. And
Can I just come in there, Leah, about the virtual side of things? Because certainly the camera piece for me, I would have felt that a little bit intimidating. I've used Zoom for many years in my last job as well, and we did have the luxury of not having to turn on cameras, which can feel like a luxury. But, you know, really, since we've introduced the requirement to turn on cameras, massively influenced engagement. And it does feel like you have a Zoom room, and it does totally increase connectivity. So, you know, I can understand if people might feel, oh, I don't want to turn on the camera. And certainly, you know, it does mean you may feel you have to brush your hair or do something, you know, like that, check the background, but it really does improve connectivity. I think that connectivity is a massive benefit of the program.
And also, Bonita, you may find what sometimes participants do is they start the program virtually, and there may be one very close to them down the road in person. They get that confidence of attending the program virtually, and then they contact us and say, you know what, I would like to go and attend an in-person program. You know, is that okay? And we would say, absolutely. Anything that's going to support you in your journey. You may find that you connect with your group and you don't want to leave that group and you want to stay, and that's absolutely fine. But also, if that's going to give somebody the encouragement and push to then the following week go to an in-person one, that's absolutely fine. We want to make sure that there isn't any barriers in place for participants attending the program. So we always say, contact the office. If there's something that is stopping you or you're questioning about attending the program, contact Aware and we will do our best to support you in attending the program in a way that's most comfortable for yourself, and that you feel that it's going to benefit you, because really that's what we want. We want our participants to get the most benefit from the program that they
And
can.
as you said,
Sorry, Bonita.
apologies, Leah.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I think, as you said, the first week is the hardest, isn't it? When you said about to get the most out of the program, turn up the first week, you'd be surprised. That's the hardest one to do, isn't it? At least the relief then comes on the other side.
And Elaine, just
when you've done it.
Just to ask you, Elaine, actually, what did you find most helpful? So you've taken part in this 6 weeks. You know, what did you come away with? What did you think was the most benefits that you got?
Gosh, it's very difficult to answer that question because it's really all so good. But I suppose I think sometimes when you're going through a bit of a hard time personally, you can feel that judgment piece, and that judgment can be self-directed. So by being in a room with other people and saying, oh my goodness, like they are quite similar to me and they're very nice, decent people, I think that would probably be the number one thing. But over and above that, then learning about the vicious cycle. And, you know, I think, you know, we often know what the right thing is for other people to do, but we often fail to know what the right thing to do for ourselves is. And I found the vicious cycle really helpful in that, and it really slows things down and breaks it up like the piece of the jigsaw that you have in the visual. And when you can break things up like that, it kind of breaks that habitual response that you might have. So I think just that vicious cycle, breaking it up, but as importantly, being with like-minded people.
Thanks, Elaine. And contrary to that, anything challenging? Did you find anything challenging?
I suppose probably the challenging piece is carving out that time for yourself, you know, and I have a family of 4, so there's, you know, there's always demands on my time, and learning to say no, and that I need to turn up for these 6 weeks for myself. But whilst it's challenging, it's also a really important thing to learn, and probably something that I'd struggled with before the course, probably something I still have to work on now, to be honest. But the awareness that actually that's a good thing and not a bad thing, I think was really important.
There's a lot for our stress then too, doesn't it, in our lives when we're trying to meet so many needs of other people. Sometimes it's no wonder we do feel it.
Absolutely.
When you describe it like that, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you learn to say no in a nice way, it's quite liberating. Actually, I was only saying to someone last week, you start to look to say it no more often because you get more time for yourself.
Especially when it's time well used, it's great.
100%, yeah.
I think it's important to say that also in relation to those topics each week that are up there, I don't know about what you think, but that people aren't actually asked to share anything about themselves, that you learn the skills and that we make up scenarios. Because I think that matters around coming in the first day, you know, do I have to share anything about me? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, Bonita. I think that people are afraid that they're going to have to reveal something about themselves. On the way, sometimes people choose to reveal some top line stuff, but in general, it's very much those relatable situations. It may be something you're going through, or it may not be something you're going through, but they're very relatable and very top line, so that you know you don't want to be triggered into something that's very, very personal to you. Very relatable, and then very easy to transfer into your own situation.
I think, you know, I'm conscious that I want to keep this to time because I appreciate that everybody has logged on for the 20 minutes. If there's any further questions, feel free to type them through. I think we've managed to answer some of the questions that do come, that have come through already. There's one asking about, does a workbook come with the course? So yes, absolutely it does. For the virtual sessions, you get sent virtual workbooks and sheets to download prior to the program commencing. Again, some people might say, I don't have a printer, I don't have ability to print them. That's absolutely fine. A pen and a paper will suffice. There's lots of course notes that you can take. Those attending the in-person programs will have the workbooks there on their first night ready for them. And there's lots of material. There's lots of reading material. There's lots of links that the trainer will be sharing with you. Also, because it is an evidence-based program and we do take feedback, evaluations of the program, we do ask sometimes as well that you fill out some experience surveys. And that's really for the benefit of the participants and our future participants, so that we are getting all the insights from our participants taking part in the program, and we can share that back to the developers and the so currently registration is open for the program. They are commencing week beginning 8th of April. Registration is open on aware.ie. You will also be receiving a recording of this program 24 hours from today. And we please ask you that you share it with anybody in your life that you feel may be interested in the program as well. It will also be housed on the Aware website for more information. And if there's any further questions that you might think about later on today, oh, I didn't get a chance to ask that, you can email through to info@aware.ie and we'll get back to you. But thank you very much for taking the time to join us. We've got one last question coming through before I wrap up. So the program is available for anybody over the age of 18. So any adult, men, women, any gender, it can take part in the program. We just ask that you're over the age of 18. The program is not designed for and that's pretty much it. Unless Bonita or Elaine, you've got anything you want to add?
Maybe, Leah, just where you said that sometimes people might choose to join virtually, and then maybe their confidence grows up and they decide to attend in person. I suppose similarly, if you were planning to go in person and you look ahead in your diary and you see you have a commitment in week 3 or week 4, I presume that the person could come in.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good, Elaine. Thanks for that. Yes, if back to my original statement of don't let any barriers stop you from attending this program. If you're going to miss a session, you can contact us to ask for solutions, or else if you simply have to miss a session because you're going on holidays, you miss that session and you come back the following week. So great point, Elaine. Someone might be taking part virtually and they want to attend in person or so, you know, they want to swap over. Obviously, the more you are committed to 1 6-week period, the better experience you're going to have. But we contact us and we will try to individually come up with a solution for you. And Niamh, I'll ask one last question I'll answer. So someone has asked if they can join with somebody underage. So unfortunately not. The program is only for those over 18. We do also have a relatives and friends program for those supporting loved ones, which we are talking about today at 12:45 if you do want to join that session. And that's about our relatives and friends program for people who are supporting loved ones who may have a diagnosis of bipolar, anxiety, or depression. Okay.
It could also, as you say, that useful for someone to learn the skills, and they might want to transfer it to their 16-year-old in their own language at another time.
Exactly.
That makes sense to you. That,
yeah.
You know, if you learn the skills, then you can
Yes.
help your young person with their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, because then you understand it. Like any parenting piece that, you know, we need to sometimes learn it ourselves before we can teach it to our kids.
And also, I suppose, just to let everybody know as well, that the program is a free educational program. We do ask for a fully refundable deposit to join up of €30 or unwaged is €10. It is fully refundable, and that's just to ensure that you get the program. You get those who really want the program get to attend. And further information is all available on aware.ie under the educational programs piece. Okay.
Forward to seeing you.
Thanks a million. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.